Alright, here we are, we're back. Been doing more work on this radio. The RCA. Here where we're at. The resistors I left in here do check good. Now these guys here, which the little, I don't know, maybe what you call them, weird shape. The little ones kind of look like a football. But they're mica capacitors. So, and they check good. There's, I don't know, about 4 or 5 of them in the radio. The other resistors, like I said, I left in here are checked good. I'll recheck them before I actually do put them back completely into the circuit. Just make sure that when I did the desoldering that I didn't do any harm. I generally heat sink them with a pair of these. These are just little forceps. You can buy them at any medical supply store or some other places. They work nice because they clamp down on. Some of the things, I painted the chassis. It may need another coat, a little sanding on their coat before I actually start putting it back together. But we're gaining. I still got to clean up the old wiring on this. This will be the this is the oscillator coil and the band switch. And of course, naturally, a lot of the wiring is in pretty bad shape. This is our wire that we've taken out so far. I thought I'd give you a little shot at what their IFs look like, being as I had to have them apart, clean up the cans, but also had to replace this resistor and this resistor. So this is the filtering resistor in the circuit, and then this is the load resistor for the AVC. There's one of them little mica caps there. Like I say, they all check good, so we're in good shape. This is how RCA had designed theirs. I don't know if I can get a good shot of this or not, but you should be able to see there's a letter C there. They're lettered out A through, well, this one would be A through F on the bottom, and then on the top, if there's ever any connections needed, B, they will be marked A, B, C, D for that. It just makes it a little nicer. Now, the one thing about these that a lot of people don't know is these lead wires that's connected in here, they have little bends in them and stuff. You don't really want to change any of this design. It can make it difficult to get this thing to adjust. These have been fully tested to keep, they put the bends in there to get some tension in it, but then they mount these, get the bends in the right place and get them so that they are a certain distance from the coils so things are not affected. Now here's your capacitors. These actually, they do have a mica, but they're a copper mica. They're not the silver mica capacitors. These have a copper center and a brass outside covering. So generally these don't, the only time they go bad is that you will know they will be like really badly green corrosion on them, so there's no use to worry about those. And then they just slide in to the cans, which I've did some polishing on. They just slide right in. No particular order, you just slide them in there and get the screw holes to line up. There's a couple nuts that'll go on first. and then you fasten back in the chassis. Now some RCAs had a top cap, some didn't. I don't know what the difference was, why they, on some radios they didn't put the top caps on. Some may have a top cap where there's no grid lead, and the other one that does have a grid lead won't have the cap. This one here, has a grid lead. I've already put it back together. But some just don't have, some even have a top cap that's got a hole cut out. I'll show you that in a minute. Electrolytic, I just got to put it back together. There's the different capacitors that goes in it. It's a 4-section, and then it'll go back in here, and we'll put this piece goes back on. The ground will be crimped underneath this, which is really, I've done this a lot of times, and it's good enough. Don't know if you can see that, but it will be underneath there, and once it's crimped down it'll fit tight. But if a person did it this way and wanted to do it this way, you could add some solder there if you're worried about it. I never had to. One thing about electrolytics, if you look at this, this is what happens to them when they dry out. That there is a burn through. You can see it over on this side and from other sections which burnt through here. This is your leakage. This is what causes your leakage in the capacitor. This is a short. It's a point short, but it's a short nonetheless. Now, in fact, that's all leakage is a shorting. This is what happens to them. You can see it tears them up when they dry out and they start leaking. Now sometimes they'll just burn clear through and totally open the plate and the capacitor is fully open. Other times they can short bad enough that they just pretty much become a dead short. Let's see, what else? Oh, I wanted to show you something about these style caps that they had used. It's the insides and the tubes. I don't know if I'm going to use the tubes. The numbering on them, on most of them, is pretty well faded, completely gone. Plus, I don't have all of them. They did replace some capacitors in here in the past. So I don't know if I'll restuff them or not. But these are real easy. They pull out. There's no heating. They have, that's your wire connection. What they have in the end, each end of the tube is a little piece like this that sits in there, and it'll be at the end of the tube. This one's still in place right here. Right here. Make sure I get it on the camera. Look what I'm doing. They fit in there. The capacitor just floats inside the tube. There's no wax or anything on these style. I left one together. Now this will be the one that will give me troubles about getting apart. Generally all you got to do is you grab a hold of it and pull, and it comes right out. You're left with a tube. These will crimp back over, and this is all you have is these little ends. You'll put your new cap in, put these two ends in, add a little glue, and you're good to go. Oh yeah, volume control, I had to redo it. This is actually the volume control. This one here is the tone, and of course the on and off switch. It was open, and I doubt I can show it to you what its problem was, but we'll try the best we can. I can't really see what I'm showing you here, but if you can see it, and I'm trying to hold in the light just right, there's a crack going right through here, and that's what's wrong with it. So you got this break going across, and so I couldn't get a total across, and the only way I could get anything going on is either for a little short distance here between these two or the longer distance going across. So this is a 2 meg across with a 500,000 ohm tap. I came up with a 1.95 meg is what it measures. It's actually supposed to be a 2 meg, but it's an 800,000 ohm tap. The point of reference on that is the tap is right here at 500,000, and we got 27K here. It's probably not, it shouldn't be real critical in the circuit if it's a little bit off. So I may have to play with the resistor a little bit, but we'll see how that goes when I get it hooked up and running. One other thing, when you're working with RCA schematics, one thing you'll notice, and some other companies have done this too, the tubes are upside down as what you normally see on a schematic. The plates will be at the bottom here and the cathode's at the top, the heaters. But the important thing about them is you don't have to worry about tube numbers, because you see these numbers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's just a schematic number. It's tube 1, tube 2, so forth. Generally, a lot of times, at least newer ones, they'd have V1, V2, V for valve or tube. But right below those numbers is a little dot there, a little square-like notch thingy that's, well, they blackened it in. That corresponds to the key that's on the tube socket. And you read the schematic as you're looking at the bottom. So you read clockwise, starting to the right of the key, because that's what that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So you don't have to have tube numbers. You just count them out from that point. They're already showing you where the key is. So that's something that's nice on RCA schematics. Let's see, was there, oh yeah, I wanted to show you the cabinet. It turned out the cabinet was a lot worse shape than I thought. I remembered. So it's going to need a little more attention. It does need a grill cloth. Yeah, geez. Let's move some stuff and see if I can get you in camera really good, so that you can see it better. And we'll adjust you up a little bit. There's the cabinet. Now it needs the grill cloth. I need to tighten these up a little bit. They're moving around. I didn't remember, but right along here somebody had scratched in some numbers. I don't know what they correspond to. The buttons, they do make remanufacture buttons for this, so I'll have to order some of those up. I'm not sure about this plastic. It's got, although a piece of it's here. What happens to these early plastics, they shrink, and as they do, of course nothing else moves like the screw holes, and a lot of times they'll start cracking out like here and a crack here. I think this one's good enough that I can probably fix it and we'll be good with it. There's some damage down here, and this is right here is not supposed to be there. I think it's a critter that did that, so I'll have to try to figure out what I'm going to do there to fix it. The finish has got a little bit of crinkling, but maybe I can clean that up. Otherwise, I really don't want to have to refinish it, but I may have to, although it looks like somebody's done something to it, because it's got a run there. I don't think that was factory. But otherwise, it's got a little bit of looseness right there. Figure where I'm at. And some separation along the bottom. So we'll have to glue it together and then go from there and see where we're at. But that's the cabinet to it. I've got the speaker put up. I also want to show you one other thing, and this is going to be a longer video than I anticipated. This is the next project. Now, I don't have the cabinet to this. This is not RCA. It's from 1936 or 35. But the chassis is in excellent condition and mostly almost all there. The only thing I don't have is the cabinet. It's a console cabinet, and I'm still looking for one, but I figured nothing else, clean the radio up, get the chassis all cleaned up and restored and everything, and I'm either build the cabinet for it or eventually find one. But that will be the next project down the road. Now see, here is where you have these little top caps, and they just pop right off. And then once they're off, it's just like the other ones. Okay. But some of them don't come with these. I mean, from the factory. So I'm not sure why some are there and some aren't, why they did that, but they did. So anyway, that's where we're at right now. The next video, we're going to start doing some wiring. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to be able to do a radio that I could do that with. So I can kind of show you about proper wire dressing and how to do that. So until the next video, thanks for your support and your comments. And thanks to my new subscribers, those that have been subscribing. I really appreciate it. And until next time, we'll see you later.